Hi and welcome back to another monthly recap of everything that I watched. This time it's everything that I watched in March, and we've got a whole mixed bag here. And we're starting off with quite a good one. This is Lisa Frankenstein, which is one of two new films that I watched in 2024, and I honestly thought this film was great. Upon rewatches, this is one I'm gonna most likely rewatch every Halloween. This film gave me very much Tim Burton-esque vibes, and I love Tim Burton films. Corpse Bride is one of my favourite films of all time, and this is Kathryn Newton and Cole Sprouse, and honestly they're a pairing I didn't imagine together, but they work quite well, even though he doesn't speak. He's a voiceless romantic lead, and honestly, is that for the better? No, but Kathryn Newton herself actually carries this film. I'm saying that, but the whole cast around them, really good. I like the sister, but Kathryn Newton is really funny, and I really enjoyed her in this role. Kind of something which is holding it back from being the best is that I wish they kind of leaned more into kind of the violent side, because they advertise this film as a coming of rage love story, because Kathryn Newton's character falls in love with like this dead person and magically wishes him to life, and it goes through kind of the story of Frankenstein trying to get body parts to build this person. And so there is some violence, but I kind of wish they just went a bit more wild with it, went a bit more crazy, even though there is one moment in this film which was a bit wild and was a bit crazy, and because they did that, I thought if they did more of that, then it would have been better. And then X-Men Days of Future Past, which I have a first time watching reaction on my channel. This was a great film. I will forever love the character dynamics between Charles and Eric, whatever version we get, if it's James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender, or Sir Ian McKellen and Sir Patrick Stewart. They just break my heart, and in this film we got both. We got young and old versions of them. And also saying that, like those two with Raven, with Mystique, it will forever break my heart. But this film, it gets so crazy towards the end, and Eric will forever just break my heart, because like I understand why he is a villain, but when you finally think he's a good guy, he switches on you and becomes bad. And it just hurts. I think it is a really good film, but I think it takes a while to get to that good point. I think at the point when like Eric, Charles and Logan and that meet Raven in like the conference room, that's when I think this film becomes great. But up until that point it's a little slow going, but the ending just makes it all worth it. And then for some reason I watched Crossroads, and I think this is an okay-ish film. I can't tell you much about it. It's just kind of like a early 2000s coming of age story. It's got a young Britney Spears in it and a young Zoe Saldana, and both of them are great in it. Both of them make it fun. There's a few like fun girly moments, but the film is just a little boring at the same time. And then if you watch my monthly recap of everything I watched in February, you'll see that I kind of had a little meltdown over modern rom-coms, because everyone was saying that they're back, that the rom-com is back, but the ones that I watched last month were terrible. I watched a rom-com this month, Moonshot, with Lana Condor and Cole Sprouse once again. And this film was great. It made me believe that rom-coms were back. Moonshot made me believe rom-coms are back. I really think it's just Lana Condor herself, because I love her in To All the Boys series. I think all three of those films are good. They get worse as they go on. But she really carries every single one of those films, and she carried this film, even though Cole Sprouse himself, he's a romantic guy. He's a comedic romantic guy, and it works. There's a moment between the two of them at the end where, you know, oh, they realise they love each other. And it is really sweet and it is really cute. And I loved that it's a rom-com set in space. And there's like a robot sidekick, kind of, in the beginning. And it's fun. It's just really fun. I love how it's kind of a new concept. Rom-com in space. Let's go a bit crazy like that with other rom-coms. And then the other new 2024 release I watched was Damsel, featuring the Netflix queen herself, Millie Bobby Brown. This film was good, borderline great. I'm going to say why it's borderline great, but like why I think this film was quite good. Better than I was expecting it to be. I love that it was, most of the film was kind of like a one location, one setting, where it was Millie Bobby Brown. Her name is Elodie. I remember that because of the dragon. The dragon talks. The dragon talks in this film. Because it's her in one location, like in a cave, with a dragon. And the dragon talks. Was it like to make it kind of seem like it's not just, we're not just following one character, so it kind of gives reason for Elodie to speak, even though when Elodie is by herself, she does speak, so it's like not a silent film, but it's the way the dragon talks, where it's like Elodie, which if you've seen The House Bunny, you will know why I just find that so funny. And I think the talking dragon is a little silly at times, but I do quite like it because I love the dragon design. The dragon looks sick. Some lines from Millie Bobby Brown herself were a little weird, a little on the nose. Like, given it, the whole thing is that it's called Damsel, but the whole thing is that she's not a damsel in distress. So there's a few lines which are like very on the line, very on the nose, where she's like, I don't need a prince to save me. She doesn't say that, but it pretty much sounds like that. But given that it's a Netflix film, some of the CGI was actually fantastic. Like I already said, the dragon looks really cool, a lot of fire. There's one moment, which I don't want to spoil it, but with every kind of like some of the twists in this film, there's one thing that happens which shocked me to my core more than the twists in this film. I just thought it was quite brutal what happened. And yeah, me and my sisters all watched this film, and like that one scene, we were sort of like, what? You can't believe you just did that. And then polar opposite to that, I then watched Leo, which I think is a great film. I'm one of those people that love Adam Sandler. I don't know what I was expecting. Well, first off, I wasn't expecting it to be a musical. That was a little shocking. He's giving advice to these little kids growing up, helping them to transition into like better people, or like better versions of themselves, how to deal with problems they have as a kid. And honestly, towards the end, it struck me in the heart. I didn't cry. No, I'm not crying over this talking lizard. I would have. If I was by myself, I probably would have cried. If I was on my period, I probably would have cried. But honestly, it was such a cute film. Every time a song came, it was a little jarring. There is one song though where it's saying like, when I was 1, I had this problem. When I was 2, I had this problem. And it does give kind of similar vibes to When I Grow Up from Matilda the musical. But that was my favourite song from the film. It was cute. It was funny. It was so funny actually. It's Adam Sandler. I find these films really funny. And then School for Good and Evil, 2 hours and 30 minutes long. I just have to point that out. I think it was a good film. I'm always intrigued in kind of like modern retellings of old fairy tales. I know it's based on a series of books. Haven't read them. I hope there is a sequel to this film because I did enjoy it. 2 hours and 30 minutes long though. I did fall asleep in the last like 30 minutes, but I woke up and I forced my sisters to rewind it so I can watch it, because apparently I missed the biggest part of the film. So I was like, oh, can you just rewind it? Because I woke up to something and I was like, what the hell is going on? Rewind like the last like 10 minutes to watch it. And the ending comes out a little bit of nowhere. I do really like the School for Good and the School for Evil. I think that's quite fun. The two like headmistresses of the school is quite fun. Our two like leading characters, they're quite fun. And also like great visual, I want to say practical effects. I don't know, unless it was really great CGI. I felt like they have these like monstrous birds come in, and at some points it looks like they're kind of real puppets, like what you have in like the Lion King show in like at a theatre, where they kind of have these real puppets that they move about. There's this massive bird that looks like that, and if it is that, that's really cool. If not, it kind of gives me that vibes if it is like visual effects, and I really like that. But then Inception, if you thought kind of the worst and the best categories were a little bit empty, that's because one is saved for Inception. Joking, April Fools. I got you dinner. This is the best film. Oh my god. I have a first time watching reaction for this film coming up very soon. That will be the next video. And if you kind of want to know what you're kind of into, watch my reaction to Top Gun Maverick. This film very much gave me that vibe where it was so good I wanted to cry. Did I cry watching Inception? You'll have to find out. If you know who I am. If you've seen some of my other videos, you know. You probably already know. It's Christopher Nolan. He's crazy. I see why he won the Oscar for Oppenheimer, even though I haven't seen Oppenheimer. But first off, such a great concept of going into someone's dreams, planting an idea in it to like change them when they wake up, but also a dream within a dream within a dream. Crazy, kind of a subplot like thread we're following through with the main character of Leonardo DiCaprio's character. So crazy when that kind of like gets revealed like inch by inch, but you get to the point where it's revealed of like, what's going on with him? Why is his wife kind of like popping up, interfering? So crazy, so heartbreaking, so tragic, and with kind of the openness of the ending of Inception. It's crazy. It is so crazy. I'm getting chills just thinking about it. It's a crazy film. So look out for my reaction, because it's crazy. And then I watched Enola Holmes 2. I like the first Enola Holmes. I wanted to watch the second one, hadn't until now. And I think it's a good film. It's as good as the first one, maybe slightly better. I quite like Millie Bobby Brown. And I like this character of Enola Holmes. She is quite posh at times, but sometimes Millie Bobby Brown herself is quite posh. I love the Britishness of it. I haven't really seen the Sherlock Holmes films, show or whatever. So like Enola Holmes is kind of my Holmes detective story I'm getting. I really like how it builds off from the previous film. I like how she's kind of her own little mini detective. She is a really interesting story that we follow for this mystery we follow here. I like how like Henry Cavill and Helena Bonham Carter like pop in as like the older brother, the mum. They build on the love story from the previous film. I didn't kind of enjoy that because it really felt like there was no build up. They just got Louis Partridge back and was like, yeah, you're gonna be the romantic lead. They have a kiss, absolutely no build up. They really just put in a kiss to put in a kiss in this film. But yeah, it was a good film. And then just last night I watched SpiderMan No Way Home, the more fun version, the extended version where there's a few like added deleted scenes. Let me tell you now, I see why those scenes were deleted. There's one part where Betty, I think, is giving like interviews to different people from the school. That moment goes on for way too long. And if we're just talking about that, that's the worst. But this film is great. I still think Spider-Man No Way Home is a great film. So I watched it twice in cinema when it first came out. Hadn't seen it since. This was my first rewatch and a first time watch of the extended part. The first half, at the point where the villains go to like Happy's apartment, that's when this film gets really good. Gets going, where it feels like it gets to the essence and the core of this film, where we're putting Peter Parker through so much tragedy. Oh my god, the fight scenes between Spider-Man and Green Goblin are so violent, where you just see him punching him in his face and Green Goblin's just smiling. Willem Dafoe is so good as Green Goblin. I love him in the first Spider-Man film, and out of all the Spider-Man films, that's maybe my favourite one. But I think in this film, it's the best performance from Tom Holland as Spider-Man, the best performance from Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, in my opinion. But I really hope Spider-Man 4 does not ruin the ending to this film. But I also just felt so much for Osborn, so much for Norman, because he don't want to be evil. And then the only show I watched this month was Dickinson, with a lovely Haley Steinfeld. If I didn't watch the last 5 minutes of the last episode, this show would be in the best. But just with how the ending of the show, where I really expected we'd maybe get like a flash forward of like her old, see like what her family around her is like, how she like lived, how her life ended. But it just ends. It just ends. It just ends. I don't know. Like, I don't want to spoil how it ends, but it just felt, the ending felt a little underwhelming to me. So I'm going to put it in great. Though I loved it. Something I've just realised, I love period pieces which kind of have modernized dialogue in it, modern language. Because whenever I'm just watching this film and then one of them's like, stop gaslighting me, and they're like, oh, we're about to get lit, I just found it so funny. It was just so funny. Everyone's great in this. Obviously it's based on Emily Dickinson, the real life poet. I don't know that much about her, but for my birthday I'm asking for a complete collection of Emily Dickinson, because I just love how each episode, I'm assuming, was a poem's title, and how they like show like when she's like reading out a poem, they like kind of show the words on the screen. I thought that was really great visuals. I just really liked it, and I love Haley Steinfeld. Personally, because I don't know how historically accurate it is, I would have loved more scenes between Emily and Sue, because whenever Emily and Sue were on screen together, my heart swooned. Literally kicking my feet, giggling. But that is everything I watched in the month of March. Let me know if there are any new films that I missed that came out in March so I can catch up. But that is it for this video. If you liked it, please leave a like and subscribe for more, you know, for that eventual Inception reaction, because it is a good one. You can also check out my letterbox at _JustLucinda, where you'll see like my thoughts on what I watched throughout the month, like when I watched them. You can also see what reaction videos are going to come soon. But thanks for watching. Bye!